Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a fun looking puzzle in front of us. This one is called Ricochet by Matt Tressel. I don't think there was anything crazy with the rules of this guy. It just looked like it'd be a fun puzzle to get into, so let's give it a try. So, normal Sudoku, and all clues are standard, as it says. So every row, column, and 3x3 box is going to contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. Then we have entropy lines, so each set of 3 adjacent digits on a peach entropy line must contain a low digit, a middle digit, and a high digit. So this guy here is one big ol' entropy line. So we'll have one of the versions, the second of the version, third of the versions, and whatever those pattern creates will follow itself all the way down this line. And of course, low digits are 1, 2, 3, mids are 4, 5, 6, and highs are 7s, 8s, and 9s. So it'll be one of each of those in each 3 adjacent digits. Then we have region sums, which are the blue hollow lines. I always like putting that kind of designation on lines so that you can, you don't have to rely just on color, is kind of the way. And I think Matt Tressel almost always does this, so that's good. But anyway, region sum lines, blue lines are separated into segments by box borders. The sum of digits on each segment of line are equal. So whatever these 3 add up to, these 3 will add up to that same value because they are on the same line but in different regions. And then we have XV clues. So digits separated by an X sum to 10. So like these guys will all add to 10. And digits separated by a V sum to 5. So these guys will all both add to 5. And that's it. Nothing crazy, like I said. But it's just a fun looking puzzle. We got some work we're going to need to do to get it into our entropy line, it looks like. So with that said, let's just jump into this thing, see if we can get it solved. Links in the description below. Let's get at it. All right, so I think the first thing we can say is these 3 digits are going to be mid to high because the bare minimum these can be is a 1, 2, 3. So these are at least 6, 7s, 8s, or 9s. I don't know how useful that's going to be at this moment, but we probably just need to start coloring this line. So I'm just going to get into it. Lucky to all of you who enjoy coloring. We've had a ton of coloring puzzles recently. So let's put yellow. We're going to try to just use innocuous colors, ones that we don't normally use for any specific type of low, mid, or high. Let's put green. Let's start thinking about what we can do. We can also put in our V clues, because they are going to be 1, 2, 3s, and 4s, and these are going to be 6, 7s, 8s, or 9s. So what does any of that tell us? Good question. There's going to have to be some way we can differentiate between some of these colors. Like, can red ever be a low digit? I think the answer is going to be no, because what would you put on here? If red is low, we could put a 1 as the final low, but then you have to go to a minimum of 4 or 5. That's not going to happen. So red is not low. Can green be low? I guess it could be. Let's think about it from this perspective and look back at our region sum again. If green is low, these are a 1, 2, 3 pair. This would have to be a 4, which means this would have to be a minimum 5. Now, we also have these guys. So if these are low, they're going to be a 2, 3, because otherwise, if they're not, we break this. So this would be a 1, 4. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. This would also have to be a minimum 5. That's 10 from the get-go. Okay, yellow is then low. Good. Low is blue, because that's how we do things. And what else does that tell us? Can we differentiate between the red and the green? Because we know, okay, well, first off, we know these can't be a 1, 2, 3. So these can't ever be 6s, which means these are actually just high digits. We'll color those the normals. Because we know this is low. Actually, let's put those in so we don't forget what we're doing. Oh, actually, we can use the same concept we were saying about for the green here and here. These have to be a 2-3 pair, because if they're not, you'd have something that would break this. So this is a 1-4. This has to be 6 or 9, which means this is not a 1. Okay. I don't know if that does anything for us, but just something I noticed. Now, how do we differentiate these guys? Can red be mid? The answer is no. Here's why. We can never put a high digit on any of these, because 7 would be the lowest. So it'd be 7, 1, 2. That's 10. Can't happen. So these two have to be high digits. Well, now red can't be high because we have 4 highs. So red is mid and green is going to be high. Good. All right. We got something started now. So where do we go from here? We have 3 highs here. We have to put 2 lows and a mid. That doesn't really tell us, I don't think, because it's still 7, 8, and 9 could all work there. But if these are all high, this can't be. So this is a 6, which means 4 and 1. You're not 1. Let's color these and see what we can get else out of that. Those are mid. Okay, these are both low because of our column. So now we have 3 lows, 3 highs, 3 mids. Now, we know one of these is mid. We know the other 2 are low. Yeah, we know one of them is mid, one of them is low, is what I was trying to say. The other 2, I meant this one and the other one. Got all of our high digits here. We're gonna have to find something like that. How do we do that now? We've got all of our lows here. You know, one of these is low and one of these is low, so this one has to be low. These guys, guess we don't know. They could be mids, they could be lows. They're just not highs. Oh, we have all of our lows. This has to be the mid. This is the low. Okay, there we go. Now, I guess we now know that there has to at least be one low here. Could be both, though. What else do we have, though? Mid, one of those. Okay, this one can't be mid, so one of these 2 will be. That would mean we're done with our mids and our lows, so this has to be high. One of these is low, one of these is mid. I don't know that we can determine which one that is. Again, we know one of these is high, one of these is mid, which means one of these is low and one of these is mid. Again, one of those is low and high. Okay. What else do we got? I don't know if we can say much here. What about this 10 clue? Because we have a mid. Oh, this just has to be a mid-mid. You can't ever put a high with a mid, and you can't ever put a low with a mid to make 10. So this is mid-mid, and it is a 4-6, which means you're a 5. You have to be a 5 too, I just noticed. This is a 5, I just noticed. Maybe we need to start putting digits in here. Okay, let's see. You're 4 or 5. Oh, you can't be 4. You're 5. Can't be 6. So, and the 4 here just says this is 6-4. Therefore, Sudoku is going to tell us this is 6 and mid. And Sudoku is going to tell us this is 4 and mid, which means you're low. 6, 5, 2. Oh, the 6 says this is 9, so we can put the 1 and the 4. That becomes low, mid, high. None of those are lows. We know that already. Okay. What about the 5, and it's one of these two is 5. What else we got? Let's see. Still don't think we can figure out what's going on here. Or these guys, because this could still be a 6 with a 1-2 pair, something along those lines. This is 2 or 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, these are both high. There we go. Okay. This can't be mid or high, so it's low, which means you are low. All right. These are mid-low. This is what? This is high. Okay, now we have all the highs. This is 1 low, 1 mid. Oh, we already said that, didn't we? High is done. This, okay. The highs are done. This can't be low, so it's mid. No, this is 1 low, 1 mid. And whatever the mid is, it can't be 5. So where does the 5 go? It goes here. This is 4 or 6. What are you? You're just a given. High. If it's a given, put it in there. What are you waiting for? This is a 7, 8 pair. Okay. These are 7s, 8s, and 9s. I don't know if I want to start putting every digit in here at the moment, but 2, 3. One of those two is the high. We can't quite determine which one it is. There's a 4 in one of these, but I don't think that helps us any. What else we got? Can we get anything else? Yeah, this guy here has to be low, doesn't he? Because we know, excuse me, we know we can't put a high on any of these. And this can't be mid, so it has to be low. In fact, all of these are lows and mids. Because we already have all the highs here. This can't be a high. I don't think that tells us what's what, though. Not really. Need another low in here somewhere. Could be any of them, I think. Yeah. One of those is low, one of those is low. Well, this is a low mid. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because we have all the highs. And we need one more of each. Well, this can't be mid, so this is low. This is mid. This now can't be low because we finalized our low, so it has to be the high and the low. Okay, these are both high then to finish the column. Didn't we say, yeah, one of these two had to be high because we couldn't put high in any of, well, those positions. We still need one more, but this one is all done. So this isn't high, this is. That means we're done with highs here. These are all mids and lows. Can we determine which is which? I don't know that we can. Well, I also don't want to necessarily put all these digits in. Do we have anything else we can do with some of these the mids here? Let's start thinking about those a little bit. Yeah, you're a 6. You're not. Which means that's a 4 or 5, which means you're 6 and 4. This is 4 and 5. That 5 was not massively helpful, but a little bit, I guess. Because we think about this guy now. Can't ever be 7, because it would have to be 1, 2, 4 to make that happen. This can't ever be a 3, because if that's a 3, that's a min 2, that's 5, that's 10. Okay. 2s and 3s, 4, 5s. One of these will be a 6. One of those two is a 1. Don't know how useful that is. One of these will be a 6. One of these will be a 4. You said one of those. Actually, one of these has to be a 4 as well. I don't think that tells us anything, though. What else can we do? 7s, 8s, and 9s. I'm not seeing a whole lot of restrictions on them at the moment. We might have to just start putting these digits in and just picking them apart a little bit. Not quite sure I want to jump into that just yet. We should be able to finish these coloring. You would think so. Again, this is mid-high, this is mid-low. That's a 2 or a 3. This 2's 3's 2. This is a 2, 3, or 5. Again, it's a low and a mid. We don't know which one it is just yet, though. What the heck are we looking at here? 6, 7, or 8? Huh. There's got to be something else where we can finalize the coloring of this thing. That's one of the things with these types of coloring puzzles. I can sometimes get to a point where I'm like a singular cell away from getting the color right, and that could just completely throw me off. So we got to figure out what the heck we're doing. Let's try to work through some of this stuff. One of these will be a 9. It doesn't say much though, does it? 7s, 8s, 9s. That doesn't say anything there. This is 7 or 8. Those don't really say much. This is a 2 or a 3. 1, 2, 3. One of those will be a 1. One of those will be a 1. Not super helpful. All right, where is this last bit of coloring? This is 4 or 6. We have to be able to work these out. Let's go back to what we're thinking of. These are all combinations of mids and lows. How do we differentiate? Dude. Doesn't look like we have enough to say which one's which, though. I don't really want to necessarily do this, but I might just to get the brain somehow thinking. This is a mid-low. That's mid. I guess these could both be mid, couldn't they? Only one of these two could be mid. Which means 2 of these have to be, but how does that help? Don't know that it does. One of those is a 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not 4, 5, or 6. Not 6, not 4. Yeah, I don't think we can rule out any of these as being mid. Now, obviously, only one of them could be. That's not getting me anywhere. Okay, how do we finish this coloring? There has to be something in here we can do. You are what? I don't know. Do we have any just base Sudoku maybe I'm missing here? I don't think so, but it's never... This can't be a 1, we said previously, because of those 2. What about these mids? There's something more we can do. One of these is a 4. Said one of those was... We know one of those 3, but that doesn't create an X-Wing. One of these is a 5. Doesn't really say much there either, does it? I don't think so. What about the 6s? We know one of those 2 is a 6. Huh. Where the heck is this thing? Is it maybe just something to do with these guys? Since they will all be the same digit. What if they're 9s? One of those. One of those. This would be a 9. I don't think that tells us anything. We get up with an X-Wing. What if they're all 8s is the same concept, really? One of those would be 8. This would have to be an 8. So would that. One of those, one of those. Guess that would mean this one would have to be the 8 too, but that doesn't tell us anything either. Okay, so that's not the plan. What else do we have here that we can work with? How do we finish this coloring? I keep saying that because it's important. And I can't figure out how to do it. Maybe this coloring is just messing with my head too much. Let's get an open book here. These could technically both be mid, which would force a mid and 2 lows. I think that's fine, right? These can't all be low, because we know we have to have a mid of some sort. So there's going to be 2 lows on this thing. There can only be 1 more low. The rest have to be mid. These can't all be mid. Because we'd break this. That doesn't seem to tell us anything either. Why does it always get down to this when I'm doing these things? There is something in here and I cannot find it for the life of me. Where the heck is this thing? Oh, this can't be a 1. Because that would force this to be a 2-3 pair. Okay. This is 1. Does that tell me anything? You're 1. Yes, no, maybe so? You're 1. You're not. None of those are 1s, I mean. Still could put a 1 on. Well, no, I guess we don't have to put a 1 on here because this could be a 2, 3, 4. Where this would be the 4, these would be the 2, 3s. Ah, that was close to getting us where we wanted to be. You're 2 or 3. You're the other 2, 3. One of these is a 1. Thought I had something there, but that still doesn't tell us because the 2 or the 3 will determine if this is 8 or 9, or the opposite. The 8 or the 9 is going to tell us what's what there. Again, we know one of those is a 1. We know one of those is a 1. Thought I found my break and I didn't. That's a 2, 3. These are 6, 7, and 8. I'm not seeing this. What the heck? You're 7 or 8. We already said one of those was a 9. Again, not really telling us much. Is it, now that we know this is a 1, can we go back and think about what these guys would be? Because what it would do to this, I don't think it does again. Because if these are 9s, this becomes the 3. If these are 8s, this becomes the 2. That's a 7, 8, that's a 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that seems to all kind of fit together. Either option, I guess. One of these is a 6, huh? It could still be here, because this could still be a 1, too. That would force these to be the 9s. Coloring puzzles. There has to be a way to determine what this coloring is, and that's all we need to finish this darn thing. One of those is a 5. Got nothing. Got nothing. Come on, can't get this close and just completely crap out, right? Maybe you can. I really just cannot find how to differentiate between these two. I'm putting these numbers in, it does nothing. I'm just trying to do anything to get the old noggin to pull something together here. Again. These are either both mid or it's a mid-low. If they were both mid, this would be low. This would be mid. These would be 2 lows and a mid. There's no problem with that I can see. If it's a low mid, we know the mid is the 4. That doesn't tell us anything. I cannot find where I need to be looking here. None of this is helping me in any shape or form. I just don't have enough things looking across these lines to tell me where one thing or another goes. And it doesn't seem like there's any other clues that I could use. It's just this region some line. One of those two is high. any of those could be. Well, not you two, but any of you three could be. Whichever one is high in here, it is the 9. If it's one of these two, that forces this to be the 8. Sorry, the 9. And those would be 9s. That, again, I'm just going down this again because I can't think of anything else I can possibly do. It would have to be you. You would be a 9. That breaks it, doesn't it? Okay. I wouldn't have thought to look there. If we put a 9 in here, that means this is 9, which means all of these are 9s, which means that's a 9. That means you and you can't be 9, so you are a 9. It means you are a 9. But now, since both of these are 9s, where do you put a 9 here? You can't. So one of these is a 9, which means these are all 8s. Okay, it is what it is. We figured it out finally. This becomes 7, 7, 9. This is 8. That's 7, 9. This is the 9, 8, 7. 7, 8, 7, and this is either 7 or 9, can't be 7, so it's 9, 7, 9. These are a 7, 8 pair, which means this is a 4, 9 pair. This is the 7 though, so we can get that sorted. This is the 8, this is the 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. This is an 8. That should now finally sort out some of our coloring. Hopefully. Okay. Because now we have a couple little bit more bits of information. But let's make sure we get all this done first. One of those two and one of those two on the 9s. Okay, let's think about our remaining digits then. Again, one of those is a 6. Those is a 5. I don't think that really told us anything too much more about these guys, so we're going to have to figure out how to finish what we've got going on. What are these two digits, or these 3? It's 1. It's 1 of each, which means this is 1 mid, 1 low. This can't be the high, so it's low or mid. You, we said, are 1 of each. You're a low mid. Got 2 lows already here, or mids, I mean, excuse me. Well, that gave me something. It's not seeming to finalize this thing. Because I still can't, wait, the 8. The 8 does figure it, right? Because now we say this is 6, this has to be 2. Okay. Whew. 3, this is 2 and 3, which means you guys are not 3s. You are the 3-5 pair. Any other correlations? You're not 3. Let's try those 2s and 3s if we can find anything. This is a 2-6 pair. Let's get rid of some of that stuff. One of those is a 3. Doesn't tell me anything. I guess we can't put a 6 on here anymore. The 5 is still possible, but 3. This can never be a 3. Because what would he put here? The minimum would be a 2, 4. That won't work. 5 here. Can this be a 5? Yeah, those could. 1s and 2s, 3s and 5s. None of those are 3s. This still isn't getting us through this thing. This is 2, 3, 4, or 5. This is 1, 2, 3, or 5, or 6. We know one of those. Okay, one of these is a 6 then, which means we have an X-wing on 6s. This is 4. Boom, boom. One of these two is a 6, and it has to be you. Okay. There's something. That's not 3. This is a 2, 4, 5, and it's not 4, so it's 2 or 5, which means this is the 4. Okay, that is mid. That's a 2, 5 left over. Okay, let's keep rolling. We now have all of our mids, so you're not a mid. At least in the column. 7s, 8s, 9s. We don't. Oh, the 4 here does differentiate these two, 9 and 4. That then says you're not 9 and you're not high, so you are, which means you are the 9, which means this has to be the 5, which means it's mid, which means you are low. Okay. Now, this has to be 2, and it has to be low. This has to be 1. These have to add to 8, so we need to put a 5 here, which means you are mid. You guys are not 1s, 2s, or 5s. You are a 3, 6, so you are 5 and 3. You are 1 and 2. Let's get the coloring done correctly. All right. Way too long to get this guy done, but 1, 2, 3. You're not 1, so you are, which means you are. 2, 3, 6. Still have to figure out how to fix these guys. Do we have anything looking at it? 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 6. 1s are done. Okay, the 2. I just didn't see that correlation. 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 6, 3. We'll do the color real quick. Oh, I swear, like I said, sometimes these coloring puzzles just get me. I get caught up in something off somewhere. That's a 2, that's a 6. There we go. You solved the puzzle. Solution is correct. Yay. We got through it eventually. That one was difficult for me. Not because it was necessarily a difficult puzzle, but certainly struggled to see where the last bit of information to kind of differentiate all this was. And again, like I've said, that can happen to me on these types of coloring puzzles, where sometimes you just have to get to as far as you can get color and then try to find something completely else that gets you through the puzzle. And in this case, I just couldn't find what that was for the longest of times. I probably wasted a good 15 minutes trying to figure out what that was, but got there at the end of the day, so it is what it is. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this puzzle. Hope you enjoyed coloring again today, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.